This video is about bring your event to life through social, and to do this you're going to need to create great content. Now there's 4 main training videos as part of this series to get you digital ready for Taste the Island. Hopefully you've already gone through how to create an event. Telling your event story is about the type of content you need to create. This video is bringing your event to life through social. It's creating the content. And then the final video in the series is getting your message out there, distributing this content out to social media and through your website and anywhere to get your message out. Now, one thing we'd say about content is, try and think about the language you're using. Try to keep it warm. So say things in a warm way. Make it simple. So don't use complicated sentences or words. Local and true to life. So keep your conversation really down to earth and be nice, be positive and uplifting. And of course, always say thank you on your forms or your emails. This is a great way to communicate your message about your event. Now, if you're creating imagery, you can take your own photos or you can get a photographer to help you take pictures. There's plenty of good cameras out there, like mobile phones have great cameras. I got a Huawei phone which has a great camera, or an iPhone could have a great camera. So you can do some of that on your own. Use photography available from Fáilte Ireland Content Pool or Discover Ireland GIFs, which are like little animated images about Taste the Island. In the workbook, we have provided links to both of these. Now, another option is create graphical images, and I'm going to show you what I mean soon using a couple of different tools that can help. So here's some tips for taking great photos. Yes, I said you can use your own camera, but if you do have a budget, do hire a good photographer, especially for event type images you're going to use in your event page, because these are really important to get right, and a good photographer will take some great pictures for you. Number 2, the rule of thirds. This is a very well-known photography tactic. So you can see the image on the right hand side. A lot of people would put the cupcakes in the center of the image, but instead think about having 3 horizontal lines and 3 vertical lines on an image. And this is positioned down the bottom right there, so it's off center. So it's at the intersection of these lines, and this just makes for a better picture. Another great effect is when you can blur out the background so you can focus in on your product or whatever you want to focus in the front and blur out the background. Now, years ago, you used to have an expensive camera to do this. Now the iPhones or some Samsung phones allow you to do this automatically, but you can see the effect of it. It looks quite professional and it's really good. And actually you see this on videos where you're doing interviews. They quite often blur out the background as well, which can look really good. Number 4, use tools to improve your imagery. So there are amazing tools now available which can take your image and make it much, much better. For example, on the right hand side of the top picture there, you can see the difference in the image on the left and the right. So the right hand side, the background has changed, so it looks more like black and white, and also then there's some text added. So this just adds a new dimension to your image, makes it more interesting to share. On the bottom, all that's been done to the image is you can see that it's brightened up the image and you can see more of the sea in the image. So you can do lots of things with it, with good applications to make your images look a lot better. So do think about what sort of tools you could use. There are many ones available: Snapseed, Photo, Camera Plus. Camera Plus I know is available on iPhone and it's also available on Android phones. So have a look at which ones are available for you. But these 3 are really good tools for doing simple things like adding a piece of text onto the image or zooming in on parts of the image. They can make a big difference, especially when you share on social. It makes it much more interesting. I mentioned the content pool that Fáilte Ireland have. It's irelandscontentpool.com, and on that there's lots of great images you can download. Also, you can go to giphy.com/Discover Ireland, where Discover Ireland have created a range of animated GIFs for Taste the Island. So these are really great for sharing across different channels online. Now, if you go to Instagram and, for example, you're uploading a picture, you can select the sticker option and then you can search for animated GIFs and you'll find those GIFs there as well. Now, when I talked earlier on about graphical imagery, I mentioned 2 tools, Canva and Easel. Now, both of these are designed to allow people that don't know how to create any graphics, have no graphic skills. You can use these tools and easily create some images for yourself. You start off with a template, like on the right hand side, these are all templates on Canva. You start off a template, you can drag and drop new images in, change text, move things around very easily, and now you have some graphical images to share. Now, the other thing I really like about doing this is that I could create one image and then I can easily change the text, change the color. So now I can share it again at a later stage because it looks like a different image. They're not difficult to use, these tools, so try Canva or Easel. There's lots of free parts to it. Canva, I use the free part to Canva all the time, so have a look at that. You may want to create banners across social media, invitations. There's templates for invitations to your event, social posts. So really, really useful tools and definitely worth checking out. This is an example of a Facebook banner you could create for your Facebook business page. And you can see here we're using the logos for Taste the Island and also some imagery that we may have from the content pool or our own imagery. It would be very easy to create this in Canva. Now, you may want to create some videos. So after the event, you might want to create testimonials, or before the event, you might want to create, a video influencers of what they're saying about the event, how great it's going to be, what they're going to do. You might share a video behind the scenes, what's happening before the event. People love to see the good and the bad of what's happening at the event. After the event over, you might share some highlights. You might interview some people. So think about it before, during, and after. So before the event, even like putting together a group of pictures, you can compile them into a video. And that works great on social because on social media, you get more engagement with video. During the event, if it's a multi-day event, capture some images or capture some video content on the day, share it on social, and afterwards make sure to capture some testimonials. Now, you can use an iPhone for video or a Huawei phone, Samsung phone, and you can just put it on a little tripod so you get it nice and steady, or hire a professional photographer. Now, a couple of tips for creating videos. One is think about it like stories. Every story has a beginning, middle, and end. So at your beginning, you might set the scene and give them some context about what you're going to talk about. The middle is the main juicy part of the story. And the end is what do they do at the end of this video, what you want them to do. Finish off the story and tell them what you want to do. Now, if you're recording a 20-second video that you're going to share on Twitter, still think about the beginning, middle, and end. It's still absolutely important to keep that structure. Number 2, keep it snappy. People don't like long, boring videos. And in your video, change scene a lot or have movement with the video movement or come in from different angles. You need to every couple of seconds change the scene or change the angle or cut to a new scene. The editing is really important in that, because people will not watch like an interview of 30 seconds long if it's just a boring interview with no change of scenery, no real movement or anything. So you need to create lots of movement in your video. And find a really good editor. The editor can make such a difference. They can edit the videos, make them more interesting, more dynamic, add some text to them, add some movement to them, and that will do a lot better on social media. Okay, what I want to do now is I just want to show you an example of sharing some content across different channels, the different types of images and videos that might give you some ideas and inspiration. So this first example is an image. You can see it's for Gin Trail. So they have an image in the background with some text on it. And here you can see where there's a logo. You can see where you could put in Taste the Island in there. And it's just announcing the dates of the event. And on the right hand side, you see information about it and lots of hashtags. That's a good one to use, and you can create that using Canva. As I mentioned before, it would be very easy to create something like this in Canva and create lots of variations of this. So you don't always have to go out and take pictures. Here's another example of featuring influencers. So who are the influencers that are going to be at the event? See them on Thursday the 29th in Gandara City. So profile the influencers as another example. Here is another image about the event. This is about stall booking at the event. Again, this is something you could easily create in Canva yourself. You'd select a template, you put in some text, and it's a bright, image that really stands out. Don't forget to use the features with Instagram like boomerang. So this is a video, but you can see it's only like a couple of second video, keeps on playing and playing again, but this motion and movement captures people's attention. So you don't have to create like 30-40 second videos, create short snappy ones and use some of the features like boomerang or the ability to zoom in within Instagram. Another feature you could use this where, okay, there's music in the background and everything is speeded up. So you get the message. So you can speed it up as well. So this again creates more interest because people lose interest pretty quickly online. It's very hard to capture their attention. So when you have video, when you have the boomerang in the video, if you're fast moving in the video, that's more likely to keep people's attention rather than just if this was a video about a cooking demonstration and it went on for a few minutes, it's not going to keep people's attention. Now, one good feature in Instagram is, the highlights feature. So if you've created stories, you can add your stories as highlights. So for example, on this one, this festival has late nights experience playlist, the tickets. So you can have the tickets here, details of the tickets and the lineup. So you can create these highlights and you can create these images specific to each section, and you could have tickets, what's the lineup, details of the event as different highlights. Another way of doing it. Okay, from Twitter point of view, here's just an example. For Nourish Festival, it's only 5 days till Nourish Festival. So it's mentioned a few hashtags. It's tagged a few people as well. So you can see here there's tagging going on and there's hashtags. So you might tag Fáilte Ireland, you might tag Discover Ireland, you might use a hashtag for your event, a hashtag for Tasty Island, you might do a hashtag for the regional area like Wild Atlantic Way, for example. And here they have 5 days to go. So it's a picture. You could take that picture, add it to Canva, add some text onto it, or use one of the mobile phone apps. So, and you can see 6 days to go, 5 days to go. So that was one of the type of tweets we talked about in our previous training, where it's our countdown, it's our action ones. In this one, what they've done is a simple thing like adding line spacing really helps because this takes up more room. So you've got a great image, but also line spacing. So space it out. Now you can see here clearly, get your tickets here. So they've done a good job spacing that out, and they've put a nice image alongside it as well. Here, this is a striking image. If you're scrolling down through Twitter, you want people to stop at images. It's in, orange with, cool writing. It really stands out. The foodie festival, the date it's coming up. Very simple to do, but very effective as well. It really stands out when you scroll down through Twitter. This is a video. Again, you can use videos on Twitter. Now you can see the way this is constantly jumping between scenes. This creates attention because you're constantly moving. If it was just focused on one particular thing, you wouldn't capture the same attention. So this is where the editor comes in that can really edit a video to make it much more interesting. It's a 1 minute video. They pack a lot of things into the 1 minute video. And there's lots of variation and lots of, they call them jump cuts, where they're jumping to something else. They're cutting and then jumping to something else all the time. On Facebook, there's actually a video, the video there. So again, you can see it's jumping between different images all the time. It's telling a story, but it's jumping between images. This is for a taste of West Cork. Short, snappy images, or videos, they're only like a couple of seconds for each clip. That's all it is, which is quite straightforward. And you could put some background music there as well if you wanted to. Now here's a video in the banner image of Facebook, which again is a good place to capture attention. And again, you see there's lots of different images in here. Now also what you can do for video is, instead of actual video, you could just have images with text and go between each of the images as well. Video is better, but you can still do the images as well. This is Taste of Dublin. Don't miss out on our latest foodie news, etc. Sign up for a newsletter. Okay, so this is when you don't have an event at the moment and you're about to launch an event. We'll get people to sign up so you can capture their details and tell them when the event is coming along. And last but not least, is this is just an example of them communicating what's happening at the event. So they're saying here that there's a drop and collect service at the event, so you can drop whatever you buy and collect it later on. Nice picture with kids showing this is a kid-friendly event. So you see immediately this is a kid-friendly event. There's friendly people at the event, and it's communicating details of things that are going on at the event. Now in this picture you can see there's some kids, so you have to be very careful about this and make sure you get permission. I'd highly recommend that you look up the GDPR rules which were set out by the EU, and that's all about data protection and privacy, and it's definitely well worth reading up on this. To summarize, first of all, great content requires planning. We've seen from previous videos, we start off and try and identify the right type of audience we're targeting. Then we do a plan for the different types of content we're going to create. And in this video, then we talked about actually creating that content. So the more planning you do, the easier it's going to get. So plan out some time, plan out resources, and for here, make sure you've got the right tools and equipment in place. Second is you really need to focus on video and imagery. You know, really most of your updates should have an image or a video with that update. So if you're sharing a tweet on Facebook, you need an image. Of course, if you're on Instagram, you have to have an image or a video. So you really need to think about that. Now, we did look at like images you can create through graphical tools like Canva. So that's another type of image. Or you can create a video, which is just a collection of images. And you've seen from the demo some different examples of that as well. And there are great tools to help you drive more engagement for video and photos on social. So we gave some example of a few of the tools that can be used to add text onto the image, you know, can zoom in parts of the image, blur out parts of the image as well, and also similar tools that are available on video. So make sure to use some of those tools, and that's going to really help as well. So thank you very much for watching. The next video in this series is about distributing content. So when you have that content, you need to figure out how do you get that out the best way possible. So make sure to watch that video as well.